Hi Taurus, this is your forecast for the month of September 2017. If you have visited me before, I want to thank you for coming back, and if you're new, welcome to my channel. This is a general reading for Taurus Sun, Taurus Rising, or Taurus Moon. It might also be helpful for you to watch your rising and moon sign. You can join me on Facebook and Instagram for daily insights on tarot and astrology, as well as my pay-per-view channel, vimeo.com/thealchemistastrologer, where you can look for the on-demand pages that focus on love, finance, and other readings. Okay, Taurus, so this is a week where you have some kind of new beginning, either in the way you're interacting, the way you're thinking, the way you're communicating. It's a new beginning. For some of you, there is a focus on some legal matter. Maybe you're dealing with a legal situation. For others of you, maybe, you're being authoritative, or you're dealing with someone of authority, somebody that's dominating. You may be struggling for a cause that you believe in. For some of you, this is dealing with some type of medical specialist. But this is a week of clarity, of gaining a new perspective on a situation, getting to the truth of something. Some of you may be coming up with some great ideas, and you're pulling on your mental strength, and you're using your will and your force in order to establish something for yourself. So there's a new determination this week where you are harnessing your own personal power to manifest some type of plan or dream that you have, or you're being very forceful and aggressive in taking on a leadership role. For some of you, maybe you're not claiming your power, and there's a need for you to take the initiative and take charge of something. Now, in the negative, you may be, again, dealing with somebody who is sarcastic, dominating, bullying, somebody who is exploiting, or you may simply not be claiming your power. You may be involved in some type of connection where, there's a standstill. Each of you are waiting for the other one to make that move, make a choice, make a decision, and neither of you are moving forward. Because this is a week of clarity, you're going to see things for what they are, and you're going to realize, where some things are off for you, where there's a hole in the picture, where, things are not quite adding up the way that they should. Again, negatively, this could be, decisions that go against you. Or maybe you're caught up in your head, you're overthinking a problem. Or maybe if you were involved in some kind of negotiation, somebody withdraws the offer. Or there's some kind of legal problem that you're dealing with, or a problem with surgery. So this, depending on how, you play this energy, you could be either abusing power, not claiming power, or dealing with destructive people. Whatever it is, again, this is some new beginning. And for some of you, if you're stepping into your own authority, then if you've been waiting on something, if you've been doubting yourself or hesitant, this is going to be the week where you step out there. You're going to put your cards on the table. You're going to speak your truth, and you're going to clear the air. You're going to let somebody know exactly what you're thinking. But for others of you, you are dealing with somebody that is manipulating a situation, perhaps playing some mind games. And for you, this is somebody that is emotionally misrepresenting themselves, perhaps even lying, not telling the truth, or there's at least, at the very least, some kind of misinterpretation of information. So this is going to be a week, regardless of who, why, and how, you're going to discover where you are, where you stand, as far as what the other person sees, how you see yourself. You're going to get clear in your estimation of one another, and that's going to make it easier for you to move forward in the future in spite of or because of what's about to occur for you. Now, the second week, you have this Ten of Wands. So there could be a feeling that somebody's under a great deal of stress or burden, or they're taking on too much. Maybe you have a legal obligation, a medical obligation, something intellectual that you have to deal with. It could be that you're taking on more than you should. There's some unreasonable obligations, and you're feeling the pressure this week. You feel trapped in a situation as if you don't have any control. And so for some of you, you've overextended yourselves. Now, this doesn't necessarily have to be negative. Maybe you've gotten a lot of success and you're just burdened by that. You're a victim of your own accomplishments, or you're buckling under the burden of your work because you have so much of it. So this is a week that can focus on the attainment of success, getting some type of recognition, and moving forward. But whatever it is, it's taxing you in some way. This is, putting in labor and going the distance, that long haul. So your endurance is called into question. So you may be at a point where you're having to stop and reassess the situation and think about whether you have too much on your plate, if you can deal with any more stress, if you can deal with the tension, any more work, any more situations. And so because you're looking at it and you're looking at your obligations, you may rethink some things, and life may give you an opportunity to move in another direction that's going to change the course of your life for the better if you're willing to open yourself up to that. Whatever it is, this is going to be a very intense week for you, where you probably will blow things out of proportion. Everything seems as if, there's a great deal at stake for you this week. It all counts. It all matters. It feels very personal. But that kind of drive and emotion attached to situations could be the very thing that's taxing your strength. You could be wearing yourself out and creating a situation that's not to your advantage. So this may be the week where you need to stop struggling and simply accept the truth of a situation. Now, you may be looking at what your load is and thinking of how you can redistribute that. You're making some changes. You're changing the way you think. Last week was a new beginning of some sort. So you're thinking of making some changes, improving the way you work, and just releasing and letting some things go. Then you're going to find another better opportunity, even if that wasn't what you were looking for. Simply because you made space for it to arrive, it's going to show up. Now, for others of you, this is a card about resistance. You're not accepting whatever is going on, and so you're making excuses for yourself. You're stuck in a rut. You are resistant to the truth that you were facing last week. And because of that, you may end up falling short. You're not coming through. Maybe you break a promise that you made because you simply can't take on anything else. You've overextended yourself, whether that's financial, emotionally, or as far as a work obligation. This is also about, again, keeping that perspective and not distorting a situation. If you are operating in doubt, remember last week, it could be that you were apprehensive. You didn't want to make a decision. You didn't want to make a move. Maybe you didn't even have faith in making that move. You were cynical or pessimistic about something. If that's the case, then you're obviously looking at something through a distorted lens, and what's going to happen is you're going to misconstrue the facts and actually end up creating more of a problem in your head than anything else. The problem is not in the external. The problem is going to be inside of you. So this is a 10, so you're at the end of a cycle. So you're taking on this load, you're getting the truth about some situation, some burden that you've been carrying. And this is a week where, again, it's possible for you to make some constructive changes by delegating, by reprioritizing, and by recognizing what is worthy of your time and your energy and what is not. Now, the third week, you have a major card. So this is an important week for you. Some of you will be dealing with important women in your life. This could be, likely a single friend, or this could be your daughter or a sister. This could be somebody that's very devoted to something. And so maybe somebody's very devoted to their work or their responsibilities or their obligations. Some of you may be coming in contact with people who work with emotional or psychological issues. And either you are resistant to dealing with something emotional or psychological, or you're working to get through that. There could be issues of past conditioning, belief systems, things that are connected to the past that you are working through. So this is a week where you could very well get some enlightenment. You could gain some type of psychological insight or get some advice or some guidance, either by listening to your intuition and going within for answers, or finding someone who can give you some solid advice, who knows what's going on behind the scenes. They know the depth of a situation. They know things that you don't necessarily know. Because this is a week where there is some type of hidden element or secretive situation. There's a mystery to something because something is going on behind the scenes. So you may be getting, again, some help or some advice in order to solve a situation. Now, some of you, maybe you're dealing with surgery or you feel overloaded because you're not feeling up to par. Maybe you're dealing with some kind of feminine issue or digestive issue. It could be some sexuality issues, and maybe, you feel like that's, sexuality or intimacy is a burden to you. So this could be a week where, again, somebody's dealing with secrets or something going on behind the scenes. Maybe you're working to research a situation. This is also going to be a highly emotional week where you're going to have to really work to keep things in check. And remember, last week you could have been looking at something and blowing it out of proportion, being too intense, in which case, maybe you're continuing in this manner. And this is a week where you're just overly emotional, and it's becoming something that's self-destructive for you. Now, for some of you, there's somebody working behind the scenes that's working against you. Maybe they're manipulative, or maybe you're dealing with, somebody who's emotionally troubled. Others of you, maybe you're dealing with issues of sexuality where somebody is being promiscuous in some way. But by tapping into your intuition, this is a week for you to find answers. And it's going to depend on how well you're able to keep those moods in check and stick with just the facts. Some of you may feel burdened because you're going out of your way to protect somebody that means a great deal to you. And in that process, you're creating some friction, or there's some challenges because you're doing that. Some of you, there's going to be some opportunity this week that appears to be golden in some way, whether it's financial or otherwise. And this opportunity will require that you use some kind of foresight because, again, everything's not clear. You're going to have to go within to see if this opportunity is really worth it, or it's just costing you more than what it's worth. For some of you, because you're not dealing with the truth, you're, very quick to put a spin on something. You're going to try to change a situation because that better suits you. And maybe the goal is to outwit somebody, to overcome a challenge, to beat out the competitor, or to create some confusion around you. But you may very well also become overburdened because you end up in that process stirring the pot and creating more drama than you were ready to deal with. So this is going to be a week where there are situations that will need to be reevaluated. How you feel about something. Do you still believe what you did before? Are your goals still valid? Are you listening to that intuition to get to the truth of a situation, or are you being resistant to something? Because the easier you tap into that inner voice, the more clearly you're going to see a situation, and that's going to allow you to move forward much more quickly and effectively. Now, the last week you have this Six of Wands. And as many of you know, I don't normally read reversals. However, this came out reversed, and so I have to honor it in this position. So the Six of Wands is all about victory, being a team player, getting assistance, listening to advice. And so in the reverse, there could be a feeling that you're not getting the respect or the recognition or your proper due this week. Maybe you're losing something and you're resistant to that, or maybe, your success is on the back burner. You're having to wait. There's a postponement. Maybe if you were expecting some money or a job offer or some type of expectation is either going to be delayed or it's not going to come through. If you were involved in some kind of negotiation, arbitration, or tense discussion or argument, this could be the week where things break down. You're not able to reach that agreement. There's some kind of misunderstanding, perhaps even a failure to communicate. This could be a week where if you were going for a job, you didn't get it. Somebody else got the offer. You didn't get the promotion. You're not being recognized. Now, part of that could be that, you're not listening to the advice or the suggestions of other people. Or maybe you're dealing with someone like that. Whatever it is, this is going to be a week where there's a surprise element. If there was something going on behind the scenes last week, this is the week where that could pop out and surprise you in some way. So there's some unexpected news that arrives, or some unexpected encounter, or someone from your past shows up. Or you may need to reorient yourself. Maybe you're not listening to advice, you're resistant to the truth, and you need to open yourself up to some new possibilities. So whatever it is, there's a sense that victory has eluded you in some way. Now, this may be because you're blowing something out of proportion, because you doubt yourself. There's a lack of confidence. And again, last week you were reevaluating a situation. So this week, maybe you don't quite feel sure of yourself and you're questioning what you're doing. So, there's some apprehension. And again, if you had a secret enemy or somebody working against you behind the scenes, this could be a week where you realize that there's some treachery involved in a situation, some betrayal, or maybe you made a forward leap only to have to step back 2 steps back. So you're not getting the opportunity or the recognition that you feel you deserve this week. Some of this, maybe it has to do with travel. Maybe you have to, there's too much work. You have too many obligations that prevent you from taking some kind of trip. Now, the underlying energy is this Page of Pentacles. So for some of you, there's some kind of news regarding business or your plans or something physical. Again, this may center around some kind of job offer or being new in a position or some kind of job training. And again, you may feel that you're not getting your proper recognition. You didn't get the promotion, or you didn't get the job or the bonus, or something is delayed. It's put on the back burner. But this is a month of new projects. There's an opportunity, a small opportunity for gain, to make some money, to move forward in some way. It just, again, may be delayed. For some of you, there's some unjustified ambitions that you have, and that's the reason that it's not coming through. You've been unrealistic in some way. And so you're having to rethink some things. It could be, for some of you, you're dealing with, again, issues of treachery or betrayal, where somebody has squandered away some money, or they've been wasteful, or, you're dealing with an actual thief. Somebody is meddling in somebody else's affairs. And so you're having to reflect on a situation this month. There could be issues where somebody has been unpredictable or unavailable or unreliable, or maybe you thought somebody was more committed in a situation than they actually are. So this could be a month where for some of you, you're simply postponing travel. You have too many plans, too many responsibilities. And so you're dealing with a busy career or your financial responsibilities, and you're having to postpone anything pleasurable, romantic, love-oriented. And so for you, things are delayed. For others of you, this is about somebody who is not grounded financially, and they're making some foolish decisions. There's some immaturity, some irresponsibility, and perhaps some insensitivity to a situation. For some of you, this is going to be a significant turning point in some way for you emotionally or socially. So you may start to become more involved in the community, especially if you feel like you're not getting the recognition that you deserve. You may start to network more, extend your influence. For some of you, this is about trying to put something on solid footing and plan for a future, something more stable. But for others of you, that Six of Wands in reverse indicates some kind of issue, perhaps a rival or infidelity. And if that's the case, this page indicates that either you or your partner is lured to greener pastures. You're looking at other people for satisfaction. However, if you're doing that, or even if they are, it could be that there's going to be some problems down the road because this person is not reliable. So something is not going to be delivered. Somebody's going to renege on a promise, or something looks promising, but it's not. So issues could center around news that has to do with opening some doors or traveling, or the need to get out there and do something and create some movement to a situation. So there's a surprise factor that takes place for you this month about empowering yourself in some way. And there's a strong desire, a strong desire to attain something, to achieve something. Now, this is going to center around some kind of ambitious development and some change in plans. So you could be facing a situation that seems, somewhat insurmountable. You're trying to make the impossible possible. And so you're feeling conflicted between your logic and your emotions. And there is an element of unpredictability about your situation. And it could be unsettling unless you're the one who's pulling the strings that initiate these changes. Whatever it is, this is just a small piece of the puzzle connected to a larger situation that is slowly unfolding. And situations this month are going to give you the opportunity to repair, or improve a situation and get some clarity on it so that you can handle your commitments and your responsibilities more efficiently. Again, that Ten of Wands says that you're overburdened in some way. Now, the Two of Wands is that you're doing this, you have two wands, which says that you're doing some kind of review, not getting the recognition of your work, or perhaps blowing something out of proportion about what you deserve. And whatever this is, it has, some type of impact to make a lasting impression, whether that's with regard to some type of gain or some type of loss. So you may be getting involved with somebody who gives some advice. Somebody's doing some counseling of some sort that's going to keep this relationship you have with another person afloat. Or you're grappling with issues that have to do with pain or anger or confusion, or perhaps betrayal. Now, some of you are involved in a career situation that just doesn't suit you. And you're coming to terms with the truth of that, and you're having to reevaluate and make some changes because you're just not making the progress that you want. But what's going to happen is this situation is going to inspire you to be more creative, to make some changes. For some of you, the resistance is coming into play, and there's an inability for you to be close with other people or someone you're involved with. So for some of you, this is going to be either a very emotionally unpleasant situation, or you're at the back end of something. You're going through the final stages of trying to overcome some kind of emotional issue. And you may feel a sense of restlessness. You may be challenged to rethink who you are, what your identity is. For some of you, you're trying to reestablish some communication within your family circle. And for others of you, you are avoiding something or resisting something. You're not listening to advice. You're trying to go it alone. You're not a team player. And in spite of the fact that you know you need to make some changes, you're still avoiding a situation or hiding out rather than dealing with it. For many of you, you're going to feel under pressure physically, and so your physical symptoms are going to be directly related to the stress that you're operating under. All right, Taurus, I hope you enjoyed this reading. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss anything. And of course, you can always book a personal reading at thealchemistastrologer.com.